Hey guys, it's not letting me go live on TikTok. I'm not sure what's wrong. So if you'll give me just a minute, I'm going to see. Hey guys, sorry. I am rebooting. I don't see your comments on here, so I'm going to reboot for TikTok. Technology, it's nuts. If you guys are sweet enough to hang in there with me, I so appreciate it. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Let's see. Okay.
Dang it.
Okay. TikTok is not happening tonight. Let's see. Okay. Something very weird. Okay. I guess you guys can see me. This is awesome. Okay, let's see. Awesome. Okay. Okay, well, let's get right to it then. This has been a very, very strange weekend. I have a head cold that is a little bit crazy, and I feel like I'm in a big old fog, and I don't get sick very often, but this one has really got me and kind of moved down in my chest. So this might be short tonight. I was so excited that TikTok goes back on, and I thought, oh, this is going to be awesome. We're really going to move through this easily tonight. And I've been doing TikTok like live every night for almost 2 months now. So it was a little bit spooky to think that my tribe was going away. So I hope if you guys are here with me that you have come over from TikTok a little bit, and I don't know why the live's not working on there. But tonight we're going to talk about menopause and perimenopause estrogen dominance and the effect of estrogen on the thyroid and progesterone on the thyroid. And it can be really confusing as far as what's going on with thyroid. So I have a little table here, and I put this on my post today. And it's basically the overlap between what happens with menopause and low thyroid. So these are symptoms here. So when you have mood changes, that can be menopause, which is usually estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And then hypothyroid can also cause mood changes. And I'm going to go through some of those mechanisms of action here in just a little bit. You can have menstrual changes around perimenopause. You can even have some breakthrough bleeding after menopause. So that is both menopause and hypothyroidism. Hot flashes is usually menopause because low thyroid is where you feel cold all the time, usually, right? Insomnia, not sleeping well. That is menopause. That can be a little overlap with low thyroid, but usually you're tired all the time with low thyroid. So that's where the insomnia comes in. Low libido can be both estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone mostly, and then hypothyroid because estrogen and thyroid affect each other. And weight gain, of course, from the estrogen imbalance, and then also the effect of low thyroid. So, just a few interesting facts about the thyroid. The thyroid has estrogen receptors. And when we look at what a receptor is on the thyroid, it is what allows the thyroid to work better. So, if you have too much estrogen or too little, it's called the Goldilocks effect. If you have too much or too little, it can go to the extremes both ways. So, when we're looking at estrogen dominance, it can mask thyroid dysfunction by increasing the carrier proteins that carry it around in the blood, or it can go completely the other way. One of the things, too, we're going to talk about is the estrobiome. And when it's not balanced, it can activate the hormone called estrone that is the problematic estrogen. And estrogen modulates thyroid autoimmunity. And a lot of autoimmunity comes from the gut as well. So we'll talk about that. And then low estrogen and low progesterone can alter the inactive form to be made into the active form of thyroid. And then thyroid and estrogen regulate cortisol, and cortisol regulates those. So everything's connected. I'm going to go through that and talk about the stress hormones like cortisol and how it impacts the thyroid and menopause. And low thyroid can increase estrogen dominance. So if you have a genetic predisposition to being estrogen dominant or genetic predisposition to be low thyroid, a lot of people say, well, my mom and my grandma had thyroid problems, then that can play in here too as well. So I'm going to get out the nerdy science board. And again, I do apologize. All the brain fog. I'm going to check one more time because that's just what I want to do. Yep, it's still not going live, so I don't know what happened. Weird. So weird. We've had so many things going on with TikTok. Okay, I'm going to give up now. I'm not one to really give up, so I'm going to turn that off so it doesn't go up. Okay, so when you look at what happens on a graph of birth to 100, I forgot to put progesterone on here. See, that's the brain fog going on. And when you put that on a graph from zero or birth to 100, 50 is about the age we go through menopause. So we have estrogen and progesterone, and it cycles like this, and then progesterone starts to drop off first, and then estrogen drops off after that. And so when estrogen starts to drop off, we start to have all sorts of problems with our thyroid that we didn't have before, unless if you had estrogen imbalances for a long time, like you had or you had a PCOS, ovarian dysfunction, endometriosis, fibroids, anything like that, which was a talk that I did last night before everything went offline, right? Then it came back on TikTok. So, but if you have estrogen dominance, it can throw all of this off as well. And I cannot see your comments on here. So I'm going to try one more thing because if I can get on Facebook Live with you guys, this would be really cool because I can't see your comments at all. And I'm here for you. Oh, I think I can. I can't see your comments at all. And I'm here for you. So weird. So weird. Okay, I give up. This might be a really short night. I am going to go through this just for you that wanted to hear some stuff about thyroid, and we'll probably just redo the whole thing tomorrow night, and I might be feeling a little bit better. But I did want to say, if you guys are struggling with thyroid issues, there's just a few things that I'll go through here, okay? So your brain makes a hormone called TSH, which isn't even a thyroid hormone. It's a thyroid stimulating hormone, and it tells your thyroid what to do. And then the thyroid then makes T4 that converts into T3, which is the active form. Estrogen drives that process to be more efficient. And there's an enzyme here. I think of it like bread and yeast rising the bread because this is the active form. This is the only thing we care about. So estrogen actually increases the ability to make more active T3. Estrogen also increases, if this was a cell and these are the receptors, estrogen also increases the number of receptors on the thyroid cell to be more active as well. So it has a lot of different functions. And then what happens is there's these little carrier proteins. I think of it like a little car. And if your thyroid is in the car, it's not free available to your tissues. So if you have too much estrogen, you can have too much of the carrier proteins going on, and then that can be a problem as well. So it's all about the balance. We call it the Goldilocks syndrome. It is all about the balance, not too much, not too little. But the problem with this is that after menopause, our levels of estrogen and progesterone literally flatline, and thyroid almost flatlines with it sometimes. And so when you have none, now we're dealing with these issues of low estrogen that now we can't make active thyroid. The problem is that a lot of doctors check TSH and they're not even looking at that component of the T4 and the T3. And they'll tell you that your thyroid works just fine, but you don't feel fine and you're having all the effects of low thyroid. And so you're tired, you're moody, you're cold, and then you're hot and hot sweats, and then night hot flashes, night sweats, all the things. So these are just from the experience of having no active T3 almost. And most of this conversion from T4 to T3 happens in the liver. So it is really important that our livers are functioning and that most people don't even recognize that the liver is, doctors don't even talk about the liver unless you have cancer or cirrhosis or something like that. But most of your T4 converts into T3 in the liver. And then most of your estrogen also converts in the liver. So that's where all that interplay happens between the thyroid, the ovaries making the estrogen, and the ovaries not making estrogen after menopause. So now we're dealing with not enough estrogen to do this conversion process. Progesterone, the other hormone, makes TSH more sensitive to the signals. So now it doesn't make more, I'll do progesterone in green. It doesn't actually make it create more receptors. It actually makes them more sensitive and able to take up the thyroid. And when you have estrogen dominance, women are more likely to get things like goiters, which are sort of nodular type thyroid glands, and can also have a propensity to cancer and all sorts of things as well there. So estrogen actually increases your thyroid receptor sensitivity, but progesterone also does. Progesterone also decreases inflammation. So it's really interesting because there are a lot of different infectious diseases that can cause thyroid problems like thyroiditis. And some of those infections can even be things like Lyme's disease. Um, you know what, guys? I love you so much. I am about to sneeze my head off. So I think that this is probably going to be a very short evening, and I do apologize for that. I just wanted to show up. I absolutely wanted to show up on TikTok. Things are a little bit crazy. I don't think things are quite right on TikTok just yet. So I'm going to table this conversation because it's a really good conversation, and I'm just kind of out of sorts altogether. But I do want to say, if you are struggling with perimenopause or menopause symptoms and you want your thyroid to work better, go order a test kit. We check for estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And you can go to hormonebliss.com, order your kit, and we will get that right out to you. Free shipping. It's free from your house back to the lab as well. And the consult with our hormone coaches is included in that. So get some help with your hormones, which will actually help your thyroid. And I promise I will be top of my game tomorrow night. And hopefully, all this technology glitchy stuff will stop. But I love you all very much. And thank you for your patience with me. And I will see you tomorrow.